Now we head down to the category. My pick last year to win the flag as they kept on going. I thought they were the most well-performed team during the home and away season and just fell short at the end to the Brisbane Lions on the grand stage of all in the grand final as Brisbane Lions went back-to-back and Geelong players and supporters were heartbroken. How will they respond? Will they be there again? We'll have to find out. Tune in as I preview the season of the Caps. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts channel. It is time to preview the Cats as we continue our season preview series. If you have been enjoying this series, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out whenever we upload. And if you haven't already gone and had a look, and I've already done your team, as I'm doing it in alphabetical order, make sure after this video to go back and have a look at those two, as I am doing in alphabetical order. So if I haven't done your team yet, it won't be far off though. But today we are doing the Cats, who were the runners-up last year, going down to the Brisbane Lions in the grand final. As I mentioned in the intro, I thought they were my pick to go all the way. Unfortunately, didn't go it. They've only made one change, other than draft picks, one change, and that was James Worpel as a free agent at the Hawks. And I think it's a good move for James Worpel because I reckon he gets to go in that midfielder because while they got Max Holmes, Bailey Smith, and Atkins, they haven't got really much. Not that they don't have much after that, but it was going down to it, and it was a really good player. Don't get me wrong, this guy was a really good player, but Graham Myers was starting to run through there, Sean Manor, and they're probably better as that half-forward line. And by all means, they can run through the midfield, but I think there is an opening for James Worpel in that midfield spot. So I think that was a good get. So that's the only one that they did bring in as my phone starts to play tricks on me. But they had a couple of outs. So we first one delisted was Ted Closey. We saw a little bit of him, just couldn't quite crack a game at senior level. Mitch Duncan, what a career Mitch Duncan had, was just the ultra-consistent player, could play multiple roles, could play on the wing, could play at halfback, could play for the midfield, and was just ultra-consistent to the back end. As I just pull up some of his stats. To the back end of his career, he did have some injury problems, and he is 34 years going on to 35 this year. But what a career he had. Managed 305 games. Where the 85 from was he kicked 185 goals, and he's a two-time premiership player in 2011 and 2022. What a career he has. As I mentioned, ultra consistent, whether it was halfback, whether it was on the wing, whether it was through the middle. He probably even played a bit of half forward for his time there with his 185 goals there. But just an ultra consistent player. It's that Mitch Duncan was that type of player that you couldn't hate because he was just an honest footballer who always went in and gave 110%. Another one was Cam Guthrie, another one who had injuries fall away to that affect his back end of his career, but his first couple of years probably took a little bit while to get on, but when he got going, my God, was he a good player. A multiple-time best and fairest, I believe, as well as we pull up there. Had the honour of wearing the 29 after Gary Ablett went to the Gold Coast Suns. So there was already eyeballs on him as soon as he put the number 29 on. And while he didn't live up to Gary Ablett's standard, that was always going to be very, very hard to do. No one's going to live up to Gary Ablett's standards. Probably the best player of this generation. He managed 240 games from 2011 to 2024. Kicked the 75 goals. Premiership player in 2022, so obviously didn't make the team for the 2011 Premiership. As I mentioned, a two-time Crudge Greaves, I hope I said that right, medalist, which is a Geelong Best and Fairest in 2020 and 22. And he's also, was also in the 2020 All-Australian team. So a solid career from Cam Guthrie, just had his injuries that really affected him towards the back end down there as well. One player that we saw got traded to Richmond though, and we hadn't seen him, and I put my hands up, as probably 95% of the other people, unless you're a Geelong supporter, would. Patrick Rashevsko got traded to Richmond. I'm sorry, but who? He hadn't played a game yet, and it was a really, really left field one. So Richmond must have been watching him closely, maybe at VFL where they saw something in him, but hopefully he can get a game at Richmond because it didn't look like he was breaking into the Geelong side. But that's what the list changes have looked like so far. Let's go have a look how they are set up around the park. Let's go. Yeah, I really like the Geelong defence. It's probably one of the better defence in the comp, purely from an intercepting point of view. Their key defenders are a mix of experience and young talent who have already proven that they can intercept and lockdown at the same time. So Jade Kolajasny, Connor O'Sullivan looks like he's going to be an absolute weapon down there, whether it's locking down, whether it's intercepting, has beautiful hands down there. Sam DeConning, we know what he can do. They fiddled around with him in the ruck. I'd like to see him just keep him down there as a key back, where he's played his best footy. And Jack Henry's a beautiful, beautiful intercept. He probably plays as that third tall. So you probably want Sam DeConning taking your number one, maybe Connor O'Sullivan or Jake Kolajasny taking the 2, and then Jack Henry to float around and coming as that third man in a contest to take those intercept marks. Now, defenders, they are also stacked with people that have a bit of class and people with a bit of run too. So Lawson Humphries starting to come on to a really nice player. Lennox Hoffman, I don't believe we've seen yet. Jed Views, just an ultimate lockdown defender, just gets the job done. Ocean Mullen, we saw do some run off the half-back line, but also go inside and do some tagging roles. So he's got that flexibility to be able to play for the midfield too with the leg speed and tackle pressure that he's got, the Irish. Zach Guthrie, I've really, really been impressed with the development of Zach Guthrie. I can't lie, when he first came in the system, his first few years, when he didn't have really any meat to his body, I thought he was a bit of a dud. I'm not going to lie, but I reckon it was about 2 years ago. He had a breakout season. Ever since then, I've been really impressed with the way he intercepts and runs off that half-back line and can almost nearly play as another tall too, because let me just search up. How tall is Zach Guthrie? Is he one of those ones who just looks tall? Because he's named as just a normal defender, but I want to see just how tall he is. So he's only 6'1", 186 centimetres. So he probably plays a bit taller than he is. But he's a nice player down there. Obviously, Mark O'Connor's another one who can play on your best small forwards and lock them down, or could also go into the midfield and play on the best midfielder and lock them down. So the flexibility, the two Irish can do that. Two Irishmen. And obviously, the superstar in there in Tom Stewart. They fiddled around with Tom Stewart a bit of midfield time as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that magnet with the solid work they got down there with DeConning and O'Sullivan building as players, they can fiddle around with Tom Stewart a little bit more. And then they can play him as that midfielder. When they need him to go back, they can go back. There's that magnet of Tom Stewart, because he's such a superstar, would be a really, really fun one for Chris Scott to have and fit around and move around as he wishes. Our midfielders, while I said they've got a couple of superstars in there, but there's also some room for other players to make their mark in there, in my opinion. So Bailey Smith, obviously superstar there. Tanner Bruin we'll see come back through there. Max Holmes, I had Bailey Smith and Max Holmes potentially as the best 1-2 punch in the comp last year. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I did make a reel about that one as well. Mitch Nebbett we saw come on. Looked interesting to see if he can lock away a bit more consistent footy. Jack Bowes runs through there, but also can play a bit off half back. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Jai Clark, George Stevens we saw. It had one of the all-time debuts, George. I believe it was like 21 disposals, kicked a goal, 9 score involvements, 9 tackles, and 7 clearances, something like that. Let me just get that one up for you so I don't get that wrong. George Stevens debut. There you go. In just his first game, he had 21 disposals, 8 clearances, and kicked a goal. That is an absolutely phenomenal way to make your mark. And I believe he didn't keep his spot for much longer after that. But we're interesting to see how they go with him. I believe he was mature age pickup. So we'll see anything go here. Hunter Holmes now. Am I right in saying that might be Max Holmes' brother? Potentially. Haven't done enough research into the new draftees there. We got Ollie Dempsey, and now I've heard a bit about Ollie Dempsey. He was probably one of the better performed wingmans and most dangerous wingmans in the comp last year, with the way he could get behind his opponent and push forward to create another tall forward option, because he's got such good athleticism, such good hands, and often hit the scoreboard. But I've heard that Chris Scott, as the overall plan for Ollie Dempsey is to play as an inside midfielder. Now, that is interesting to me, because I think he sits beautifully well on that wing and floating forward. He doesn't float back much, but float forward to create that extra option. So I'd love to see what they do with that magnet here, because I'm a big Ollie Dempsey fan there. And they've also obviously got James Warple, and then the in and under Tom Atkins. In my opinion, James Warple and Tom Atkins can't be in the same midfield, so they'll probably alternate with each other and take turns about who goes in there. Now, for all the time that I've said and that Geelong are crying out for a ruckman, little did I know they actually have 5 on their list. So Reece Stanley, Toby Conway we saw a bit of, Mitchell Edwards, Joe Pike, and obviously Mark Blitzard. Mark Blitzard would be, I mentioned the fun that Chris Scott can have with Tom Stewart's magnet, but over the years, how much fun would Chris Scott and Faith would he have in the magnet going, we're getting beat up around the midfield. Let's chuck Mark Blitzard in as a big body midfielder. Or we're getting beaten around in the ruck. Let's chuck him in the ruck. Or we need some help down the back. We'll chuck him on the back. We need a bit of run on the outside. Chuck him on the wing. Just such a versatile player. Would be one of the more versatile players that we have seen, at least in this 2000 in Mark Blitzard. Such a great magnet to have. I think he takes that number one rock role to start with. But I'm not sure what went with Toby Conway. I think he might have got injured. If so, there's been big rats on him. So I'd love to see Toby Conway get a look in and potentially start moving past Reece Stanley. That's just my personal opinion on that one. See Toby Conway in there, but I think Mark Blitzard gets first dig. Now, key forwards, they've obviously got the man Jezza down there. Shannon Neal had a pretty good season last year, might I say. He had a pretty good season, but there was games where he probably could have took it by the scruff of the neck and probably didn't dominate games when we expect him to, but was good for a goal or two. About 2 goals a game, sometimes kicking forward. Love to see him just absolutely rip a game open and kick 6-1 this time in 2026. Ollie Henry, he's been a bit hit and miss since coming. In his first year he was good. Last year was a bit hit and miss, but seems to be decent for a goal when he's playing. Haven't seen Jay Polkinghall yet. I believe, if I have a look here, Jacob Muller. That's Jess Muller. Same there. But those are the main key forwards. Haven't seen Jacob Muller. Haven't seen Jay Polkinghall yet. So those are the 2 key forwards we're yet to see. Now, forwards, they have got such creative, hard-working, hard-running, and forwards with a knack for a goal sense and can kick bags if you let them. Sean Manor I thought he started to get the right recognition he needed. He does all the little things, the tackles, the goal assists, the score involvements, but then started to impact the scoreboard as well. Tyson Stengel's just your all-and-out small forward who you keep deep and will kick you 2 or 3 when you need him to. Jack Martin's a bit of an interesting one. Can pop up for 2 or 3, but can also go missing. I saw him play a bit of half-back as well. Be interesting to see what he delivers in 2026. Now, if I have a look here, no, I don't believe we've seen Oliver Wiltshire yet. We haven't seen Jacob Muller yet. Paddy Dangerfield was listed as an all-out forward, and I think that's exactly where he needs to stay and then do what they did as that impact player. If they need someone to go in the mid to get that contested ball and burst and stoppage, Paddy Dangerfield is your man. I know they got James Warple, but Paddy Dangerfield isn't different gravy. And Killian Burke, they've just signed as a Category B, I believe. Yes, from Category... Is that right? Category B, I believe Killian Burke or someone... Yeah, I believe that's right. He's an Irishman that's come across there. But that's how they look across the park. Now let's start highlighting some key players for this season. Now, I mentioned with the magnet of Tom Stewart potentially flirting with him again with a bit more midfield time. But that comes to question, who's going to provide that run-off halfback and the intercepting player? And one player that I'm really excited about and showed it in glimpses and potentially is ready to take that next step, in my opinion, is Lawson Humphries. Lawson Humphries has the dash, the beautiful kicking. Obviously, was drafted, I believe, it was either the Waffle or the Sample Seconds. Wasn't even looked at. Came out of nowhere. And ever since he's come into the side a couple of years ago, he's just consistently done his job. Played all 25 matches last year, averaged 16.1 disposals, just under 5.5 marks, and kicked 4 goals. So when he was allowed to push up the ground, is he the type of player that can replace that Tom Stewart running and intercepting role? I'm really excited to see what type of player Lawson Humphries could come in, because I think he's got it in him. Not to mention his best game was round 4 v Melbourne. He had 23 disposals, took the 13 marks. There you go, 6 rebound 50s and 488 metres gained. So we can get plenty more of them, even some 25 disposals and 500 plus metres gained matches in 2026. He could be a gem for them down in that defence, running off the half-back line, delivering it up the ground. Now, my knees to lift is a young midfielder who hasn't quite broken to the side yet and was used a lot as the sub last year. He was the pick 8 in the 2022 draft, so it's Jai Clark. Jai Clark, I think the reason why I've got him in needs to lift, while he hasn't had a lot of games to show what he's potentially made of, he's coming into his 4th season now, so now I think, as I said, I think there's room for someone to lock down a spot in that midfield other than the rotation of Warple, Smith, Holmes and Atkins. I think there's a spot. So I think Jai Clark in his 4th season either needs to lock a spot there or needs to lock a spot on the wing. There's no sub now. Potentially maybe he gets that 23rd spot on the bench now. Now he'll get more games with that extra spot on the bench, but only managed the 10 matches last year, 9 disposals and only kicked the 1 goal. His best game was round 2 v St Kilda, 14 disposals, 2 clearances, 6 score involvements. He's a first round draft pick. They took him for a reason. They showed a lot of faith into him. Going into his 4th season, I think it's time he delivers and lock down a spot in that midfield and show everyone why Geelong took him that early. Where do I think Geelong will finish in the 2026 season? Now, there's nothing that has said this to me to shine a light on this. It's just because the competition is so tight now, anyone can finish anywhere. I could see Geelong falling out of the 4th, but only to about their 5th. Don't stress, Cats fans. You will be playing finals. There is no doubt about that. But I'm questioning that I could see you not quite getting that second chance, but then being one of those teams who pushes right to the prelim with a chance to get into the final dance off no second chance. So I have the Cats potentially slipping out of the 4, but still managing to play finals. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my 2026 season preview for the Geelong Football Club. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. If we haven't done your team yet, I'm sure it won't be far off as we do it in alphabetical order. And if we've already done your team, make sure you go back and watch that video as well. But if you don't have time to sit down and watch the video, lucky for you, I'm going to have this available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So if you are one of those and are listening via audio, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button, turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. Share this off to a fellow Cats supporter or just an AFL fan who's dying for the season to get started like I am. And guys, please remember, if you do enjoy this show, to leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. And until next time, I'll see you guys then.